What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flames We Action channel. Now, today's video, I'm going to be at Dr. Dre. And with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And with that being said, let's check into this documentary of Dr. Dre.
Ones that hit, you never know. And you never know when you're going to fall off.
Before Dr. Dre's debut studio album, The Chronic, released in 1992, would become one of the most celebrated hip-hop albums of all time. Before Dre's second studio album, 2001, would be certified sextuple platinum and give us such bangers as Forgot About Dre and Still Dre. Before his sale of beats to Apple was the biggest single-year payday for any musician in history.
Billionaire Boys Club, for real, homie. Huh? Fix your face. Fix your face.
Know that. Before Dr. Dre got his hands on as many as 6 Grammys, an AMA, and 2 MTV Video Awards for his work as a rapper, producer, and sound engineer. Before Dr. Dre came straight out of comp to the film produced by Dr. Dre, which means he told you that story the way he wanted you to see it.
I don't know anything about hip-hop, but I know that you're special.
When Dr. Dre originally got into music, he was using the name Dr. J. That was inspired by his favorite basketball player at the time, Julius Dr. J. Irving. He was the first to get into music when he heard the song The Adventures of Grandmaster Flash on the Wheels of Steel. He had a fire inside of him to start making music, and he would spend countless hours in his room with records and mixers. He was eager to start making music. On top of that, he also fathered his first child at the age of 16, so he needed to get ahead. But he didn't have the capital, so he was relying on others, and they made him do it their way. He was a member of the world-class wrecking crew who were originally called Disco Construction, but besides some nightclub gigs, things weren't exactly taking off. Then in 1987, Dre got arrested for unpaid parking tickets, and he got bailed out by a local drug dealer by the name of Eazy-E. And that was the beginning of NWA. My name is Michael McCrudden, and welcome to Before They Were Famous, documenting the life of Dr. Dre prior to fame, here for you on Before They Were Famous. Now, Eazy-E, I'm probably going to have to do that one in the future, but I do read all the comments and the suggestions, so be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want to see on a future Before They're Famous. Also, we might need to do an After They're Famous on Dre as well, because this guy's got a crazy life. Andre Ramel Young, on February 18th, 1965 in Compton, California, music was certainly in Andre's blood. Both of his parents were singers. His mother, Verna, quit her group singing for the Four Aces at the age of 16, having to raise her baby boy. Andre's middle name comes from one of the bands his father, Theodore, belonged to, the Ramels. When Andre was only 1 year old, he lost his younger brother to pneumonia. He'd also have other pain in his life with his parents splitting up. He'd then live with his mother, and they would move around South Central LA because the areas were so gang-ridden she couldn't find a safe place for her boy. Luckily, there would be a man around the house because she would get married several different times, and she'd have multiple other children. At one point, they were living in Wilmington Arms, a housing project in the Compton area, and Andre, he attended Centennial High. Later, he transferred to Fremont High, and later went to Chester Adult School. Now, Andre, he never took an interest in academics besides kind of liking his drafting class. The guy didn't care for school. Now, he didn't get involved in gang culture like so many of his peers because he was obsessed with music. That Grandmaster Flash song I mentioned in the intro, as soon as he heard that, he was absolutely hooked. He went home and he ripped apart Mom's stereo system, began playing with the balance button, and from there he had his own homemade mixer, and he started recording mixtapes. He soon turned his family home into his own personal studio, and for hours on end he would practice taking pieces of different songs and sounds to make them his own. At the age of 16, Andre fathered his first child, the girl who got pregnant. She didn't tell him for 20 years. So when he finally met his son, Curtis, well, Curtis was a rapper himself, going by the name Hood Surgeon. At the age of 19, Andre got the Christmas gift he had always been asking for, a proper sound mixer. Yeah, his mom gave it to him. I wonder if he gave her like a working stereo system in return. Kind of owed her one. Now in his teens, Andre was tall and lanky. His peers called him Dr. J, named after his favorite basketball player. He began booking gigs as a DJ, both at hip-hop and disco clubs. He was working with the electro-hip-hop world-class wrecking crew, who were previously known as Disco Construction. The group consisted of Dr. Dre, DJ Yella, Clientele, and Lonzo, or Alonzo Williams, who would form the band and would have to perform at his club Eve After Dark. He also made the group wear outfits that even included makeup. This is Intel Eazy-E would later make public when NWA. From this time, Andre, well, he was getting a little stressed out. Mama wanted him out of the house. She also wanted him to get a real job. On top of that, he wanted to make music that he was really proud of. Around this time, he decided to stop calling himself Dr. J. Instead, he would call himself Dr. Dre, the master of mixology. He had a solid crew working with him, including Ice Cube, Yella, MC Ren, but the group needed capital. And if things weren't tight enough, well then Dr. Dre, he got sent to prison on $900 worth of unpaid parking tickets because his Mazda RX-7, well, he kept parking in the wrong place. He did have a friend who could bail him out, though, a guy by the name of Eric Wright. You all know him as Eazy-E. The two got a talking, and Dr. Dre shared with Eazy-E his ambitions in making music. He also told him a story about a song him and O'Shea Ice Cube Jackson had made for a group known as HBO. It was titled Boys in the Hood. But that group, they rejected this song. That little situation, well, it left both Dr. Dre and Ice Cube up Schitt's Creek. So he came up with the brilliant idea to convince Eazy-E to rap the song. Eazy-E paid for the recording time, and Boys in the Hood was released as the solo debut for rapper Eazy-E. He was a member of NWA, and this was dropped in 1987. He got plenty of local airplay. The trio later invited DJ Yella, MC Ren, Arabian Prince, and DOC into NWA. Eazy-E then hooked up with Jerry Heller all on his own to help him navigate through the music industry with his newfound label, Ruthless Records. The group's second album, Straight Outta Compton, was released the following year, and it cost only $12,000 to record, but went on to sell more than 2 million copies. It also marked the arrival of a brand new genre of music known as gangster rap. Songs on that record, Fuck the Police, well, it caused so much controversy, Ruthless Records, they received a letter from the FBI. Business was booming, but there was tension amongst the group, with Eazy cashing in and the rest scraping by. Ice Cube first left, and Eazy started up a very public beef between NWA and their former member. Now, Dr. Dre was hurt with the departure of his pal Ice Cube, but he would have more grieving to go through when he was notified that his younger brother Tyree had died back in Compton. Dropped their third album without Ice Cube and broke records, rising to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in just 2 short weeks. But not all was on the up and up for Dr. Dre. The man was tense, and he was angry. Things weren't going so well with him and Ruthless Records. Then a television host by the name of Dee Barnes, she did an interview with Ice Cube, and following that, she rolled a video from NWA. Well, this got Dr. Dre really angry. Dre was later arrested for assaulting the woman, as well as music producer Damon Thomas, and also a police officer. With all this going on, Dr. Dre came to the conclusion that something had to give. He wanted out of his contract with Ruthless Records. To get this done, well, he talked to pal Suge Knight, who went over to Eazy-E's house with metal pipes and baseball bats, and well, he got him out of that contract. Following this, Dr. Dre and Suge Knight, they founded Death Row Records in 1992. Their first release single was Deep Cover, the theme of a movie of the same name, starring Lawrence Fishburne. And on that track, there was a rapper no one had heard of before. His name, Snoop Doggy Dogg. If you want to know more about that guy, well, you're in luck, because I've done it before. They're famous on him. In 1993, Dr. Dre dropped his own debut album, The Chronic, and Snoop appeared on 9 of the 16 tracks. Nothing But a G Thing, it hit #2 and got considerable play on MTV. And Fuck With Dre Day, as well as Let Me Ride, well, that one scored Dr. Dre his first Grammy for Best Rap Performance. And the rest of the story, well, you know the story, because this is Before They're Famous. Now, Dr. Dre, he's got such a crazy story.
All right, y'all, that's it for this video, and I'm signing out. Peace.